All right, this video is going to go over speed, distance, and time problems. I'll do a couple examples with you and then also just kind of go over how to set it up and how to complete the problem. So one thing I want you to notice first are the requirements for each problem. So for each problem, I would like you to make sure you choose the correct formula and you'll put it there. And then you're going to show your work. So once you plug in the numbers, if you could please include that. And then finally, you're going to come up with the correct answer and include how to label it. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at, it says, number one, you're being chased by a dog and you are moving at 5 meters per second. If you can run at that pace for 50 seconds, what is the farthest distance you can go? So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill out the information that we know. So if I look at the problem, or if I look down here first, I have S, D, and T. This represents speed, distance, and time. I'm going to take the information from the problem and plug in where I can. So the first one I see is 5 meters per second. Meters per second is a form of speed, just like miles per hour, feet per second. Meters per second is speed. So I'm going to put 5 meters per second next to speed. Fix that. All right, the next thing it says is 50 seconds. So 50 seconds is right there. Well, I know that seconds is going to be a representation of time, so I'm going to put 50 seconds down by the T. All right, all that's left is distance, and there's nothing in my problem that asks for distance. To be honest, it says what is the farthest distance you can go. So that's what I'm trying to solve for. So whenever I have the one that I'm trying to solve for, that's the equation I'll choose. So I'm going to choose this one right here because I'm trying to find the distance. So distance equals speed times time. So I'm just going to kind of abbreviate that. And I'm going to put D equals S times T. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill in for speed, and that's 5 meters per second. And then I'm going to multiply that by 50, because that's going to be my time, so 50 seconds. Okay, in order to solve that, you're able to do that in your head, or you can choose to use a calculator. So I'm going to do 5 times 50, and that's going to give me 250. So I'm just going to write distance equals 250. Okay, when it comes to labeling it, so one thing we talked about in class are different measurements or units of of distance, speed, or time. So with distance, if I roll a ball away from me, I could measure the distance in yards, feet, centimeters, meters, miles. So there's a lot of things. For this, I want to take whatever's been used in the problem. And right here is going to give me the information. So in the problem, it uses 5 meters per second. That means in this problem, I want to take the meters portion and use that as my label. So for this problem, the farthest distance I can go is 250 meters. All right, for the next problem, it says, you are driving in your mom's car to go to your aunt's house. Her house is 200 miles away. It takes her 4 hours to get there. What is her average speed? So again, I'm going to go ahead and fill out the information that I know. So the first thing here, it says 200 miles. And I know that's a form of distance. So I'm going to put 200 miles here. And then the next part says 4 hours to get there. Hours is a form of time. I'm going to put 4 hours right here. So that means I'm left with not knowing the speed. And that's why they asked at the end, what is her average speed? So the equation I'm going to use is right here. Speed equals distance over time. So I'm going to go ahead and put that equation. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in my information. So for distance, it's 200 miles. And then I will go ahead and put also the time there, which in this problem is 4 hours. Okay, so again, I can go ahead and do that in my head, or I can use a calculator. I'm going to plug in 200 divided by 4, and that gives me the answer of 50. So what that means is the speed, or her average speed for this trip, was 50. And when I go to label it for speed, you always need distance per unit of time. So the distance in this problem was miles, and the amount of time that was used in this problem were hours. So miles per hour will be how I label it.